I hear so many times from the client and from the other people as well that if I'm going to do this thing, then what IRS think? I was taking this much salary, and if I raise my salary, then what IRS thinks there's going to be that actual red flag or no. Also, I haven't made big charitable donation in the past, and what if I do it now? What IRS is going to think, and so on and so forth. So I think let me make few things very clear and help you understand how the IRS code works basically. The IRS codes are a bunch of red light and green light. Think in this way. It's way more easier way to understand. If there's a red light, you stop and you pay taxes. If it is a green light, you get to go without paying taxes. Plain and simple. Or that the actual majority of rules are very clear by the IRS codes. So there are some actual private ruling, there are some court cases, there are so many things. You look at most of the things are very, very clear. It is black and white. So meaning, red and green, right? Red, you stop, you pay taxes. Green, you get to go without paying taxes. There are certain areas you'll find that's where the law is not clear. So that's where you fall in kind of amber, right? That in between the light turns from that actual red to green, or that actual green to red, you'll find that one. That's where you will see certain areas. So that's where you would need the interpretation. That's where that other IRS come and ask you a question. But the other things are very, very clear. So now coming back, salary issue. What if I raise the salary? So it's not what you raise or you don't raise. IRS has something called reasonable compensation guideline. Actually many times, by the way, that actually S corp owners, that's where this thing comes into play. When you have S corporation, you try to take less salary and more K1, so you don't pay that actually Medicare and the actual FICA tax on that one basically. So that's the logic. But that actually what happens, the IRS is probably smarter than you, or it become over the period that one IRS has came up with so many rules and say, hey, look, if you are this is what you're doing, then this kind of salary you must take it basically. So those are called reasonable compensation guidelines. So it's not that one. If you take more than that one, IRS is no problem. Why IRS would say you anything if you take more salary basically, because you will end up giving the IRS more money in that actual taxes, right? That actual Medicare dollar, which you don't pay in K1. So similarly, in terms of donation, let's say you used to do, say that actually $5,000-$10,000 a year donation, and suddenly now you put some strategy, or you create some trust, or some your own foundation, or so on and so forth, and now you're making say $1 million, $2 million charitable donation, and you don't need to worry about that one, because IRS do not judge you why you are not donating. You have so much money, you should have done, or you don't have a lot more money, you're not billionaire, and you're still giving the $2 million. So no, IRS do not judge you in that one. It is a red light, green light. If it is according to the law, and you're abiding the law, and you're doing the way it should be, then there's no problem. So there's no judgment that they look at. This is by the IRS code. This is by IRS rule. And as long as you are following the rules, you should be fine. Now, last thing, so many times that actual tax planning is this, and that's where you will see the value of real actual tax professional, and that especially the team of the actual tax professional is the average CPA, or the average accountant, or average EA, or average tax planner, whomever you want to call them. They are so focused on a red light, and that, by the way, we should be focused on a red light. We don't want to break any red light, but at the same time, we don't want to miss any green light as well. And that's where that if you get the right tax team, those are expert, they will make sure that you don't break any red light, but you don't miss any green light as well. And that, I think that is where, if you look at the average, that actual tax preparer, local accountant, CPA, EA, they're so busy with their own work, and they have so many clients, and they have to prepare so many tax returns. So unfortunately, they don't have a time to think something else, or spend time to get educated, or do their due diligence, or so on and so forth. So they are doing the job of more kind of tax compliance, that are making sure that you are out of trouble by putting the right numbers in the right box, and file by right deadline, and that are actually following those rules, so you don't break any red light, but they miss many green light as well. And that's where the tremendous tax savings comes.